Crimson Trace's laser saddle is a feature-packed laser sighting solution for Mossberg 500, 590, and 590 Shockwave 12-gauge shotguns. Available as a red or green laser. Buy it now at crimsontrace.com.
He rode out of Louisiana territory, and with his gun slung low and his microphone held high, he brought truth to a savage land. And the legend grew. Tom Gresham's Gun Talk.
All right, welcome to Gun Talk. Tom Gresham here. We're going to have some fun talking about guns and other things, because we can never stay on topic around here. If you'd like to join us, 866-TALK-GUN or Tom Talk Gun. That'll certainly get you in here. If there's an old gun you want to tell me about, something you got from your dad or granddad, I'd like to hear about that one. Found a letter this week from my dad to me, written, 25 years ago, in the files, where he gave me his Remington Model 6, little falling block, single shot, 22 rimfire, little bitty gun. His first gun. One of the interesting parts of it was, when he was talking about the description, he says, what he did with it, how he got it, and all the rest of it. He said it does have one short chapter that wasn't so good. He was out with his buddy. He named the names. And his buddy said, hey, let me see that rifle for just a minute. Just a minute. And for some reason, his buddy decided, they had another friend who was down in the creek in a boat. And Dad's buddy decided he would scare his buddy down in the boat and shoot in front of him in the water and splash the water upon him. Well, you see it coming, don't you? Yeah, bullet ricocheted off the water, went through the side of the boat, grazed this kid in the leg. Didn't do much damage, evidently. One of those deals where you just go, you can't goof around with guns. It's serious stuff. And if you're with somebody who's not serious about it, get away from them. I mean, here's my deal. I say something right off the bat. I say, look, knock that off, or we're not going to do that, or watch your muzzle, or if I'm feeling particularly kind, I'll say something like, I really wouldn't mind it if you didn't point your gun at me again. Which is a nice way of saying, don't you dare do that again. If it happens a second time, all bets are off. I'm gone. Gone. I won't hang around. Getting ready for deer season. So I'm playing. Now, look, if you are a person who says, I have a deer rifle and it's worked for me for X number of years and there's no reason to change, I get it. That'll work. I kind of have to be, I am by nature, and then I have to be by profession, a bit of a gear hog. When I was growing up, we always had different guns around. I mean, when you grow up the son of a gun writer, Dad was the shooting editor for Sports Afield magazine. So we always had new guns. We had new cartridges. Everything new that came out, I got to play with. So it was funny. I was thinking about getting a 6.5 PRC, this new cartridge. I said, well, let's see. I've got a 264 Win Mag. And I shot the 6.5 Remington Magnum when it first came out, and the 660. Cool. Just the fun stuff you get to do. And over the years, you realize nothing's new, or maybe everything new is old, or whatever, however you put that. But, we're rediscovering the 6.5 caliber when the 6.5 by 55 has been around for, 100 years, and it's been performing well that whole time. It's just fun. It's you know what it is, honestly? It's an excuse to go out and get another gun. I just want to have something else to go take to the range, develop some loads for, and go play with. Let's see. All right. We're going to go Joe and then Sharon, all right? So Joe's up first on line 2 out of Katy, Texas. Hey, Joe, what's cooking?
I've been working 7 days a week, so I never heard what the total deal on the bump stock was. Illegal, or?
They are absolutely illegal. You cannot own one legally right now, and you must destroy it.
So just take a hacksaw and cut it up.
Yep. You might want to take a little video of you cutting it up just in case somebody ever asks. You go, yep, there it is, cut it up, throw it away. It's done. But yeah, that was a sad day for gun rights. Not that I think bump stocks were the end all and be all, but just the way it was done. administratively and not legislatively. Probably not legal to do it that way, but it's over. It's done. So if you've got one or more, you just got to get rid of it. And yeah,
okay.
as
One
Jim
other
says,
quick comment then. You ever watch American Pickers?
No.
They went to a guy's place in Florida. They made 212 steel receivered Henry rifles. This guy bought a rifle from 3 different people. They ended up consecutive serial numbers. That was pretty cool.
That's like, guy needs to buy a lottery ticket, man. Holy cow.
The guy also bought an original Gatling gun, too.
That's cool. I mean, and for those who don't know, it's absolutely legal to own a Gatling gun. It's not a machine gun. And Colt is still making them. You can buy one. It's only $50,000. So if you could get one a little less than that, that's a good deal. Hey, Joe, thank you for the call. Sharon, line 5 out of Houston, Texas. Understand, Sharon, that you're a new listener.
I am. I'm glad I found your show. I just found it. But,
well, I'm glad you did.
I grew up in Texas. I'm a native, and I remember the time when we didn't even have any kind of legal documentation or permit to carry guns. It was just what you did if you lived in Texas. It's our constitutional right. But now I don't understand all this confusion because the answer to criminal shooting and shooters is more law-abiding citizens that are armed. And that's all you need to know. And why should we turn over our personal rights to safety to a federal government that's not doing their first job, which is to secure our border? Establish the border, secure it, and defend it. That's their job. It's not their job to start looking around to see who has guns. We'll take care of that part.
So, do you own guns?
Well, do I own jewelry?
Great
I
answer.
live in Texas.
That's a good Texas woman right there. I guarantee you now.
So, I mean, to me, this is just a lot of silly talk, which is unfortunately what our Congress has been reduced to, just silly talk.
Sharon, you can be a powerful voice because let me just tell you, when a politician gets a call from a woman who speaks the way you do about guns and common sense, they were more likely to listen to you than they are to me because they're kind of dismissive of guys with guns. But when you call and say, hey, I have guns for self-defense, I know how to use guns, and I don't want you passing any more gun control laws. Not the silly expanded background check, not the rights-infringing red flag law, nothing. If you were to call your senators and your congressmen, you're going to get a better hearing than I am.
Well, I'll be calling Ted Cruz, my senator, and also John Cornyn, which is a little bit of a squish, but I will call him.
Yep. You know what? It's a squish, and that's all the more reason to call. People say, well, I don't know about Then call and say, look, here's the deal. Senator, and you won't talk to the senator, you'll talk to a legislative aide. Just want to let him know that this is how I feel about it. Absolutely no compromise on gun rights, absolutely nothing. Support the Second Amendment, and that means no gun control laws, no expanded background check, no red flag laws, none of that. And I will be watching, and basically, and it's okay to say, I'm a registered voter, and how I vote in the next election, when he comes up for re-election, is going to really depend on what happens on gun rights. That's my issue. And just lay it on.
I'm glad you're putting the word out there. We do need to get on top of this and just do some stand-up. And I'm very serious that the Senate and the Congress, the whole Congress, the House, the Senate, they need to get on what their principal duty is that is border control and secure our border, and they're not doing it. They are not doing their job. This is a big deflection.
Well, of course, I'm not sure the rest of the country really understands what's going on in Texas. Texas is on the cusp of becoming a blue state. And if that happens, it really changes the votes in Congress. It changes a lot. It's huge. So if you are in Texas, more than anything else, you need to get out there and vote. It's huge.
For sure. I agree with that. We're in a battle here. It's a battle on the border. It's a battle in the next year's election. It's a battle everywhere. They're after Texas. We need to get armed and be alert and be informed.
Well, you got to take care of yourself. That's what the arming is about, take care of yourself personally. And also we have to take care of our rights, and that means getting involved politically, which it may mean nothing more than making a few phone calls, but those phone calls make a difference. Sharon, welcome to Gun Talk. I'm glad that you found us. We're here every week. Spread the word.
Well, thank you.
All right, take care. All right, 866-TALK-A-GUN gets you in here. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk.
This is Jeff with Black Hills Ammunition. Shooters looking for ultimate performance and 300 blackout will be pleased with our new 110-grain tip TSX load. This round performs well through tough barriers such as car doors and windshields, making it a great choice for police patrol rifles. It also provides superior performance on whitetails and monster hogs. This round is a great all-around terminal performer. Black Hills Ammunition, the power of performance.
Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. The time is now to band together. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
This is Ryan Gresham with Gun Talk. Visit guntalk.com/win to enter our latest giveaway. This month, enter to win with Surefire. One person will win Surefire's X300U handgun light, featuring a stunning 1,000 lumens. And two folks will win Surefire Stiletto rechargeable pocket flashlight. Enter now through August 30th at guntalk.com/win. That's guntalk.com/win.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
Are forming around the schools these days. People are picking up their kids. For moms, the clock watching starts about 3 o'clock. That's about the time the kids get home from school. Are they there? Are they safe? Peace of mind is why parents are adding the Blink XT2 security cameras to their back-to-school shopping list. And right now, you can save up to 20%. Blink cameras are almost like being there when your kids get home. Just moments after they walk through the door, you get an alert on your Blink smartphone app with a video clip. And the Blink XT2 two-way talk features lets you greet and chat with them from your smartphone. Blink cameras are wire-free, set up in minutes, and run on 2 lithium batteries for up to 2 years. No monthly contracts. And right now, through Labor Day, you can save up to 20% with Blink's back-to-school sale. Thanks to Blink, back-to-school security just got easier. Visit blinkprotect.com/sale. blinkprotect.com/sale. Blink is, also available at Amazon, and it is an Amazon company. It works with Alexa. Our 866-TALK-GUN gets you in here. John's with us out of Fargo, North Dakota on 3. Hello, John. What's on your mind?
Afternoon, Tom. Well, a couple of things, and I'll tell you, these are things that everybody needs to be paying attention to because the Senate is coming back from their big old vacation, and right away now I hear at the top of the hour on the news that, yep, we're going to be talking about gun control and looking at red flag laws.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to tell you, North Dakota shot theirs down, no pun intended, 76-17 in the legislature this year. And it was one of the primary reasons was the simple fact that even though the emphasis is on law enforcement to prove their case in order to come take your guns, you will fight an uphill battle with thousands of dollars in legal fees to get anything reversed. Right. That's one thing, and that's where due process is being conveniently overlooked in terms of the working man. And people need to realize that and understand that, because if you've never had to get a lawyer for something, you're going to find out in a hurry how much they get an hour.
Right. Oh, yeah. I was talking about that earlier. I said, look, you can figure, I'll call it 50 hours of lawyer fees. Get you an inexpensive one at $300 an hour. There's $15,000 plus months or years to try to get your guns back and trying to prove a negative, trying to prove that you're not going to commit a crime in the future. This is the old pre-crime, future crime mind reading deal. It is hideous on the face of it. The whole red flag law is awful.
The other thing that people need to look at, and I've been hearing this a lot lately, with this broad brush being used to paint the term assault-type rifle, what people don't realize is go look in your gun safe. If you're like me and you have M1 carbines even, those will fit the old AWB descriptions of 1994, which was a law that was allowed to sunset by the Democrats in Congress in charge in 2004, because that brush was painted so broadly. Because if you think about it, Tom, all I have to do is pull my bayonet lug off of that M1 carbine. It no longer fits that criteria. If you flip your wrench on the end of your AR-15 and get rid of your flash suppressor and glue your stock in place, poof, mystically, it's no longer an assault rifle.
And John, it's actually worse than that, because that was the description written in 94 for the Clinton gun ban, the so-called assault weapons ban. But in truth, if you look at what they are proposing now and the bills they are introducing, it has really very little resemblance to what we had then. Actually, it includes pistols and shotguns. So in essence, it would ban semi-automatic firearms. That would be
they have found all their previous mistakes and conveniently overwritten them.
Yes, exactly right. So we're talking, people go, well, I don't know. And look, we're talking about your duck hunting shotgun. We're talking about your pistols that you own, your semi-automatic pistols, and frankly, anything else. And here's the deal. I always ask them, when I was at Gunsight or Thunder Ranch or all these places, one of the things that when you're getting real gunfighting training is, and when that doesn't work, what's your plan? And when that doesn't work, what's your plan? They're trying to make the point they need to have a backup plan and a backup plan. And I asked the gun banners, I say, look, when what you're proposing now has no impact on crime, what's your next step? They never want to admit it, but they have next steps all lined up. You're old enough to remember every time they pass a gun control law, they sit down, they sign the law, whoever the president is or somebody, and then they look up at the camera and they say these words. Well, this isn't actually going to reduce crime, but it's a good first step. And I don't care if they say it 100 times, it's always the first step. They're basically telling you, we know this isn't going to work, but it's a way for us to get to the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step. And the only way to not get to that last step is to not let them have this step.
Exactly, Tom. You're as usual, spot on.
There it is. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the call. By the way, and Jim points this out, says, we already have laws on the books where you can take guns away from people who are proven to be mentally incompetent, people who are proven to be unstable, people who are proven to be dangerous, people who have been convicted of violent crimes. We can take those guns away from them. Except that, of course, it doesn't work. You saw the news coming out of Philadelphia, right? This shootout, standoff, 6 police officers shot. And of course, the gun ban folks are saying, we got to do something about guns. Well, except that this guy had a criminal record longer than both your legs. He was legally prohibited from touching a firearm. A felony for him to even touch a firearm. What law do you think you're going to pass that's going to get this guy to obey the law? It's ludicrous on the very face of it. Terry's called in from Indiana on 5. Hello, Terry. You're on Gun Talk.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How can we help you?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I've been listening to your program this afternoon and about Texas and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Democrats want to let more people in so later they can vote for Democrat and win that state.
Clearly that's what's going on. And, let's bring in more people who will vote blue And, if we have to, in essence, destroy the legal immigration system in this country to make that happen, certainly willing to do it. I mean, and look, I'm going to take it from there, Terry. Thank you. I almost hesitate to say this, but this is the reality of what's going on. This is how unhinged the left is about guns. This is how nutso they are. They are willing to kill people to get gun control passed. Whoa, what did you just say, Tom? The shooter in Christchurch, New Zealand, I just put it back up on Twitter. I don't want people to forget this. In his manifesto, he says one of the reasons he's using guns and not something else, he said, I could have used, a lot of other things to kill a lot of people. But I wanted to use guns to push forward the agenda. I want to force the gun control in the United States. I am convinced that a number of these shootings have that at least partially in mind. And then, of course, we have the leftists who are so violent, tried to kill Steve Scalise. The guy says, are those Republicans out there at that baseball practice? He says, yes, okay. They went out there and tried to kill them all. Wasn't interested in killing them if they were Democrats. I don't see that happening in the other direction. They certainly are willing to lie, because I catch them doing that on almost a daily basis. The media lies. I mentioned the case of CNN making up the quotes of an ATF agent who they never talked to. Of course, they also faked the footage with John Zarella, the reporter down in Florida, saying that if you shoot these cinder blocks with an assault weapon, it tears them up and shows these cinder blocks being all torn up. And if you shoot them with the exact same cartridge, a .223 cartridge, out of a rifle that's not an assault weapon, it doesn't do anything to the cinder blocks. I know you're thinking, that's stupid. Well, it was stupid. And they showed the cinder blocks getting no damage whatsoever when you shoot them with a .223, same cartridge, out of a... I know, it's so stupid. Then they got caught faking the footage, and they got called on it. And they just keep doing it over and over again. They will lie to get their gun control, and unfortunately, some of the crazies on the left are willing to kill people to get their gun control. That's where we are. And you want to compromise with those people? Have you lost your ever-loving mind?
Honey, does this holster make me look fat?
The right answers to the tough questions on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk.
Welcome back to Gun Talk. 866-TALK-GUN, just dial Tom Talk Gun. As you may know, we talk about pretty much everything that has to do with guns, from politics to the technical to getting ready for hunting seasons and everything else. It's a real pleasure to bring in a good friend, longtime friend of mine. Larry Weishuhn joins us right now. Outdoorsman, author, biologist, and TV personality. Hey, Larry.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
What you been shooting, man?
Mostly time here as of late. I spent a little time in Spain, actually, with the Ruger #1, hunting 2 different ibex, and then loved Spain so much I went back 2 weeks later and carried my Ruger #1 back over there again and hunted the roe deer. So that's kind of been the extent of it as far as hunting this for summer and spring, and now we're just kind of getting ready for all the things coming up very shortly here now in the fall.
Ruger #1, been out for, 40 years, more than that. But I don't know when they first brought it out, but, you get to hunt with everything. You can hunt with any gun you want, and you use bolt actions a lot. You shoot ARs, didn't bother you at all. Why? You and I both have a thing for the #1. It's a single shot. But what is it about that gun that turns you on so much?
I spent a lot of time years ago doing work with Thompson Center with the Encore and shooting single-shot rifles and single-shot pistols. And kind of started out that way many years ago as a kid, to where I was given a single-shot 410 or a single-shot 22 and a VRP shells, and I had to make every shot count. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of just set the stage. And then although I appreciate all kinds of guns, handguns, rifles, different styles of rifles and handguns. There's just something about the Ruger number 1 with the classy lines that it has that just seem to draw me back to it, no matter what gun is. As I reach into that gun safe to see which gun I'm going to take out, I've almost got to close my eyes and turn my head if I grab something beside that Ruger number 1.
and just say, I'm sorry.
And what I do, I very humbly apologize. Please forgive me, kind of thing.
That's it. How is it different? Describe, because it is different. When you go out hunting with a single-shot rifle, the experience is, at least to some extent, a different experience. How is that?
It is, and one of the things that I go back to is when I was young, I was given a single-shot rifle, and I was taught to make every shot count and to make sure that first shot was the one that was the most important and the one that counted most. And I think that goes part of it as far as using a single shot. But I think there's a certain amount of pride that comes into play, too, that when you carry a single shot, even though with a little bit of practice, you can make that Ruger number 1 sound like somebody shooting a bolt-action rifle. But I think it's that mindset that you have, too, that says you're going to have to make this first shot count, and you better not pull the trigger until absolutely everything is ready to go, and then you pull the trigger. And I think that kind of helps you. It's kind of like a bow hunter or a muzzleloader hunter. I did a lot of muzzleloader hunting as well, too, in years past. And even though you could reload, you made that shot count. So you put everything together. You made sure you got close enough, or you were very proficient with that firearm before you went out. You knew exactly where it was going to hit at different ranges. And again, all that kind of plays into the fact. And then I think there's a certain amount of pride that comes with shooting a single shot that, hey, says, whether you tell people or not, you're saying that, hey, I'm a pretty good shot. I can make my first shot count.
Well, you're putting a somewhat of a restriction on yourself, which is, it's kind of like, as you say, more like bow hunting or something like muzzle loading. Now, you've been shooting this fairly new cartridge, the 300 PRC, developed by Hornady. What do you think of that cartridge?
I've only had a chance to shoot it just a little bit so far, basically, at paper. I was able to finally get my number 1 that they did through the custom shop about 4 days ago, and my time at the range has been somewhat limited, but based upon what I've seen, I've got using that Hornady ammo, and I've got a Trigicon variable scope on it. I'm really, really pleased, Tom, at how well this thing is shooting. I've had a chance to shoot it at 100 yards, and I'm getting almost touching groups at 100 yards, and I've shot it out to 500 so far. And at 500, I'm shooting about a 4-5-inch group at 500, and I'm not so sure that it can't shoot a little bit better than that. And I think it may just be me at this point, but the accuracy with that particular load, with what Hornady has developed in that rifle, is extremely nice, to the point to where it's going to be a gun I'm going to be using for a pronghorn antelope and probably for Coues deer a little bit later on, and a couple other places where normally I love long range shooting, but also love short range hunting. I like to get as close in as I can at all possible and make it before I make that shot, because to me that kind of plays into one of the reasons that I hunt. But I know that with that rifle, that where I am right now, that if I cannot get any closer to an animal than, say, 500 or maybe even a little bit farther, at this point, I feel very comfortable about taking the shot from a good rest.
The PRC cartridges, for those who don't know, the 300 PRC is basically a 300 Magnum. The 6.5 PRC, which is the one I should get it next week. It's as far as I know, the only number 1 ever made in 6.5 PRC so far.
Yes.
They're actually, what they really are is bench rest type competition cartridges. They took all the technology that we've developed over the last 40 years with the PPC cartridges and the super bench rest cartridges and the sharper shoulders and all the things they've learned, and they made them just bigger calibers, so you can get the velocity with the heavier bullets, with these longer bullets, the high BC bullets, but you're still developing this crazy good accuracy out of what now are either long-range competition or, in our cases, hunting cartridges.
You're exactly right. I mean, then I've had a chance to shoot several of the A couple of the other PRC type guns that they've been playing with, and hopefully they'll develop and start seeing in the next few years, the next couple of years at the most.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. I mean, basically that 300 PRC is a 375 Ruger cartridge neck down to a
right.
30 caliber, and as a result of that, I mean, even though in the it's not a very long case, I guess is what I'm trying to say. In the Ruger number 1, that's not very important because it doesn't really make any difference how long the case is. But were it a both action rifle, that could mean a difference, particularly as far as that
short action or short or long action. Yeah, it's exactly right. And you got that short fat cartridge case that is incredible accuracy. Hey Larry, I'm gonna get you hold on here. I need to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna put you on the spot about some of the stuff we're seeing on this super long range hunting. You didn't know this was coming, but you still knew it was coming.
I'll be ready. Thank you very much.
All right, we're talking with Larry Weishuhn. If you'd like to join us, 866-TALK-GUN.
Tactical professionals who put their lives on the line every day depend on Surefire. Since 1979, Surefire has designed, machined, and assembled the finest flashlights, weapon-mounted lights, hearing protection, and suppressors right here in the U.S. Surefire, offering a best-in-class warranty and customer service, and used by more military special operations, SWAT teams, and hard-use end users than any other brand. Surefire, American-built, American-strong. Visit Surefire.com. That's Surefire.com.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Bata Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
When someone leaves you their gun collection, you may want a few, but what do you do with the rest? How do you sell them? Who do you call? Well, I call Johnny Dury at Dury's Guns. Whether you're selling one gun or 500, they'll tell you what it's worth and write you a check. Simple, quick, easy, fair. I trust Dury's Guns. Give them a call. DurysGuns.com. During the break, we're talking about guns. Talking with Larry Weishuhn right now. Larry, I also just got I bought a Ruger number 1, 28-inch barrel and 257 Weatherby Magnum. I'm looking forward to shooting that.
To me, that's probably one of the finest cartridges that Weatherby developed. I have not shot one in a while. I have shot one in the Ruger number 1. A friend of mine has it, and it was extremely accurate as well. Again, we were using Hornady ammo. I mean, these guns that we have these days, with the bullets that we have, the loads developed, with the optics that we have sitting on top of them, there are some long-range capabilities there.
There are, and if you go to a place like, and I know you spend a lot of time over at the FTW Ranch, which is it's like, I call it gun site for hunters. It's like, that's such a cool place, man. Yeah, but they will teach you, two things. They will teach you a lot about your rifle and all of that, and they will teach you how to shoot at long range, but more importantly, they will reveal to you what your effective range is and where beyond that point you probably shouldn't be shooting, right?
Tom, you're exactly right. I've been able to spend a lot of time there with Tim Fallon and Doug Prickard and a bunch of the other instructors over the years. You're right. They teach you how to shoot long range at targets and to learn your capabilities is right. And as I said, these days we are producing firearms, ammo, and optics that have the capabilities, but it's still up to us to determine at what distance we feel like we can take an animal down as quickly and humanely as possible. So that's something that's got to come into play. And one of the things that I try to tell people that if you're going to learn, you need to learn how to shoot long range. You need to learn how to read the wind. There's so many things that come into play, and then you need to find out what your limits are with whatever you're shooting. And then, then it's still a decision as to whether or not you want to pull the trigger on an animal that you feel like you could probably hit at 800 yards, but there's still maybe that little question as to whether or not you can or not.
Yeah, but for me, and I don't mind taking a position on this, I just was looking at some of the videos on YouTube of people shooting elk at 1,100, 1,400 yards. And we're talking about with multiple hits and crippling and wounding. And the thing I try to explain to people, I said, look, the difference between hitting something at 600 yards and 1,200 yards, it's not twice as hard. It's 42 times as hard.
You're exactly right. I mean, again, to go back, I love to shoot at paper or steel plates or a gallon milk jug set up on a hillside somewhere that I range, and maybe they're 1,000 yards away. But when it comes to the actual hunting side of things, to me, I want to get as close as I can. I want to know that I've got the confidence that I could put a bullet into a 6-inch circle or whatever it is at 1,000 yards. But if I can do that, and then if I can put on a stalk and get close enough to that animal where I can shoot him at 100, less, or maybe 150 yards, that's so much more thrilling to me personally than to setting up and shooting at that animal at 1,000 yards and not knowing for sure whether I'm going to be able to precisely place that bullet. And then if I'm there by myself, how am I ever going to find the animal? Well,
and there's this other thing, and you've shot enough at long range, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And people they don't understand until I explain to them time of flight. When you're looking at a 2-second flight time for a bullet, an elk can walk 4 feet in 2 seconds. You can do everything right, read the wind perfectly, take the shot, and he takes a couple of steps, and now you got a gut shot or you got a problem is what you got.
You're exactly right. And you think about it, the stride of an elk may be 16, 18 inches. If he just takes one step or just leans forward, same thing with a big deer or mule deer or whatever. I mean, they don't have to move very far at all in that length of flight for that bullet to hit at a improper place as far as putting that animal down quickly and humanely.
Talk to me for a second. You've hunted everything everywhere, and you've hunted for a long period of time. The advances we have in ammo, and particularly in bullets, it's just a game changer for everything we do now.
It is. We live when it comes to guns, ammo, and even with the optics that we have now, with everything, with the technology that we have there as well too. We're living at the very best of time, and the bullets that we have right now is I've been doing a lot of things with Hornady over the last bunch of years now, and of course in between time I've been able to shoot some other stuff or be around other people that shoot things, and quite frankly, some of the bullets that they have developed to me, and I'll give them a plug saying that ELDX that they have produced is one of the most accurate killing bullets that I've ever seen, and that goes back to many years of being a wildlife biologist where I shot lots and lots of animals for research purposes, and then every one of them we necropsied. So I could then from that, and then too, over the years we've used hogs as a medium for bullet testing on where we could shoot at known ranges even before we had some of the technology we do now. And of all the bullets that I've shot as far as shooting at animals and then being able to recover that animal and doing a complete autopsy and necropsy on them, that you can't beat that Hornady ELDX. It, to me, is the finest book that I've ever shot at this point.
And have high BC. All right, Larry Weishuhn, tell people where they can follow you, what you're doing these days.
Well, these days we still have the DSC's Trailing the Hunter's Moon TV show on the Pursuit channel. It's also available on YouTube and Roku and a bunch of other places. Do a podcast called DSC's Untamed Heritage. It's available anywhere there's podcasts available. And then if they want to try to get in touch with me, probably the best way to do it is to go to Larry Weishuhn Outdoors on Facebook, and then I'll do my best to respond to them if they'll do that.
That'll work, Larry. I appreciate it. I can't wait to ring out these number ones. Maybe we'll get a chance to get together and do some hunting.
We need to do that. At least get together at the FTW or something. Look forward to it, Tom.
I'm for it. You be safe out there. It's awfully good to talk with you.
Same way here, always. Thank you so very much, sir.
All righty. 866-TALK-GUN. All right, we get letters, as they say. Let's see. Pat says, hey, I just received a 1911 from the Civilian Marksmanship Program. I took it to the range today. It works great. It's the field grade. By the order number, I think most have been sold off. I had an option of field or rack grade. I chose field, $950. What I received was a Colt frame and Ithaca slide. By the serial number, the frame was made in 1918. No number on the slide, made in the early 40s. I was expecting to get a pistol with all the parts from the same company. This may be common. He says, I think most M1 carbines have mixed parts. It came in a Pelican case with a CMP certificate of authenticity. I'm glad to have it. That's a really good range report, Pat. Thank you, sir. And then we get this one from Kevin. It says, during the last break of your show on the local news, they had a blurb. They played a snippet from a Bernie Sanders rally. He was talking about criminal justice reform. He promised marijuana legalization, prison population cut in half, and government-funded medically supervised sites for injecting illegal drugs, which essentially legalizes all drugs. He says, and guns are the problem. He says, it really appears that the only people that Democrats want to consider criminals are law-abiding gun owners. Couldn't agree more, Kevin. Oh, my goodness. It's a little bit of a crazy time. I'm looking at some of the bills that are going to be introduced in the House coming up. H.R. 2708, Disarm Hate Act, to prevent a person who has been convicted of a misdemeanor hate crime or received an enhanced sentence for a misdemeanor because of hate or bias in its commission from obtaining a firearm. So if you were thinking bad thoughts when you committed a crime, you would lose your gun rights, according to this bill. Okay. Then we have another one. Let's see, what do they call them this one? They have the lovely names for this one, for these things. The Keep Americans Safe Act, H.R. 1186. It says to regulate large capacity ammunition feeding devices. Their idea of regulating, when you start reading it, is to ban them. And I'm talking about possession. It is a confiscation bill. Make no mistake, H.R. 1186 would confiscate all standard capacity magazines, pistols, rifles, shotguns. Hundreds of millions of them would become illegal. If you had them, you would become a criminal. This is what they're thinking of as common sense gun laws. And then you have H.R. 1236, Extreme Risk Protection Order. Yeah, to remove access to firearms from individuals who are a danger to themselves or others. Yeah, really? Pre-crime. You may commit a crime in the future. You haven't committed a crime yet, but you might. So we're going to send people with guns to take away your guns. And if you don't like that, we might have to kill you, the way we did that fella in Maryland. He went to his door at 5 in the morning. The police were there on the extreme, what do they call it, Enhanced Protection Act, red flag law. This is all red flag law. There was a misunderstanding, something happened, they ended up killing him. Turned out the complaint against him on the red flag law was bogus. It was false. There was nothing to it. Now, he's still dead, and they still got that one marked up as justifiable. That's red flag laws. Pre-crime, you might at some future point commit a crime, so we're going to come take your guns away from you. And just repeat, we already have laws that allow us to take the guns away from people who are adjudicated. If you've been adjudicated mentally incompetent, you can't own a gun. That's been that way for decades. We don't need it. We don't want it. And if it happens, it would be a horrible thing. 866-TALK-GUN.